Welcome to another episode of the Creative Power Hour. I'm your host, Marcus Whitney, and today our guest is Nasty, Newton Dominey.
I was wondering what my superhero name was going to be.
I never tell anybody what it's going to be, you know what I mean? Because they'll settle into it. They might even start making faces like they're that thing. Nah, man, you're just Nasty Newton.
Okay. I mean, I shower. I bathe.
Nah, this is a different kind of nasty, man. It's like Nasty Nas, man. Nas showers, man, but it's nasty.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I got it. Yeah. I'll try and live up to it.
Yeah. Nice. All right, man. Thanks for being on the show.
Yeah.
Super excited. And you know the deal.
Yeah.
Origin story.
Hop
in.
So I was born in Texas. Yep. Texas forever.
Where in Texas? I mean, because Texas is like...
It's also like its own country.
That's right.
So I was born in East Texas, about 100 miles from Dallas.
Okay.
A town called Tyler. It's a fun place to visit. Glad I don't live there.
Okay. I mean, but there are a lot of places in Texas like that, right? Where
Texas in general is probably a fun place to visit. Maybe I don't want to live there.
I've spent more time in Texas than I ever thought I would in Austin.
Yeah.
But like the rest of Texas, and this is no disrespect. Like I had a good time in Houston when I was there. Anyway.
No, it's cool. It's pretty. But yeah, I was born in Texas. Moved to Knoxville when I was 12. My parents split up when I was 7. So kind of a single mom household. Like dad was around, but...
Do you have siblings?
Yeah, I've got one younger brother. He's 4 years younger than I am. Things were all right. I mean, not perfect, but they were all right.
Yeah.
My mom remarried, moved to Knoxville when I was 12, which is that's a weird age to move.
That is a weird age to move.
I had a year of 8th grade and then went into high school.
Yeah.
But a year to kind of get connected with people and then transition into the big school.
Yeah.
And Knoxville was all right. Also glad I don't live there. But high school was fine. It was a lot of kind of being on the fringes of circles, not being out, but not being in.
I get that. I get that.
Having lots of places where not a square peg in a round hole, but not totally a round peg.
Yeah.
Decided I would go to Lipscomb University.
High school is such a distorted version of reality.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing really about real life that mirrors the high school. Not much anyway. Not much. When you really get into the world, it's it's just not really that much like that.
Yeah, and it's weird. I remember, and some of this is family stuff, some of this is high school stuff, and some just cultural things. But I remember thinking when I was graduating high school, getting ready to start college, I had to know what I was going to do for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
That's some shit.
and you weren't even close. Let's keep it real.
Not even
You're
close.
not even close to that, right?
25 years later, I can say that my business is missional, and I can say that what I'm doing feels like gospel work to me.
Right.
But I'm not working in a church as a youth minister, which is what I thought I was supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally different. 17-year-olds have no business deciding what they're going to do for the rest of their lives.
No.
But yeah, moved to Lipscomb. Moved to Nashville to go to Lipscomb, and I was not ready for college. I'd graduated a year early due to going to a little bitty private school in Texas and skipping a grade.
Yep.
I was not ready at 17 to be 3 hours from home, responsible for my own schedule, waking up by myself. None of that. And college just it wasn't a good fit.
Yeah.
And I argued with it not being a good fit for. When did I drop out? Started in 93. I think I dropped out fall of 97. No, 98. Fall 98. So I went.
So you were kind of...
I changed majors, and then I transferred to MTSU, and to get do the recording industry thing. And then my mom died in the middle of my second semester, second semester rather, at MTSU. And
from?
She had a disease called sarcoidosis.
I've heard of it.
You're old enough that you would know my reference. The only famous person I know that has it or had it is Duff.
Oh,
the
yeah.
MTV VJ.
Yeah, of course.
From
Of course.
way
Yeah,
back.
Duff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's basically the opposite of the AIDS virus. Instead of depleting your immune system,
Your immune system's
it
overrunning.
sends T cells to fight infections that don't exist.
Wow.
And so like these sarcoids, these nodes will form like in the lungs or in your knees or in your eyes, like wherever.
Got it.
In Mom's case, they formed in her lungs and impacted her ability to breathe.
Oh.
But it was more disabling, not life-threatening.
Understand.
It was more like we got to take a break if we're walking across the mall doing Christmas shopping, not Mom's in ICU.
Yeah.
But yeah, then one day, November 16th, 1998, she just didn't wake up.
Wow.
She had been sick, had a migraine. And so I'm 22, I guess about to be 23.
And
no
one's ever prepared for that, but like you guys didn't even have like clinical guidance that this could happen, right? It's not like when you get a cancer diagnosis and people start telling you to prepare, like she just didn't wake up one day.
Yeah, so we never did an autopsy or anything like that. But Mom had migraines and basically had been like so sick from a migraine that she was throwing up.
Oh.
And they don't know if like throwing up caused her to like have a hemorrhage, or if it dislodged one of the nodes in her lungs and that caused it. All we know is that she didn't wake up. And so here I am, 22, still very much a mama's boy, getting bailed out by Mom all the time. Not out of jail, but out of everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Getting bailed out all the time. And I've lost my tether. Completely lost my tether. So I did what any sensible 22-year-old would do, which is to drop out, go get a real job, go be a grown-up, start building a career, doing whatever that's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I worked at Sprint back when it was cool to work for a mobile phone company. That was fun, got married, had a job and thought, okay, this is what I'm doing. I don't want to be a sales guy, but it's what I'm qualified for. That's what college dropouts do. They get sales jobs, right? And I was good at it, translated that into another sales job doing.
Tell me.
Yeah.
Tell me about your younger brother while this is happening. Man,
if it untethered me, not to like put his laundry out there, but if it was a tethering thing for me, it definitely was for him. He was still at home.
Yeah,
he was at home when Mom died.
Yeah,
and so it was really, really hard for him. I remember going through some counseling stuff, hearing like when you have trauma like that you effectively stop development. Or at least without being intentional about it.
Yes, that's right.
That's right. Development stops, or it's severely stunted.
Yes.
And so, it was super hard for him. Eventually, like he moved back down to Texas for a little bit with my dad, and then moved up with me, which I would not recommend having that happen again. Like we were not good roommates as adults.
Well, I think it was the dynamic. I wasn't so much trying to understand what had happened to him, but just understanding like you're 24. Okay, he's 20, right? Or 20.
I was 22. He was 18.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. So I'm just thinking about wow, he's really got to be impacted, and you guys were living up here with her, and so this must have put you in.
I was in college here.
Yeah. It's like you're young adults, but
right, and he was still in Knoxville. I guess he had probably started freshman year of college. I'm guessing. I think he had graduated and was starting his freshman year of college.
Yeah.
I think that's right. But it was just this massive hand grenade in the middle of the life that I'd planned. Spent a fair amount of time. Like I was playing. All I wanted to do if I wasn't going to be a youth minister was to be a rock and roll superstar. Like just small goals.
What instrument? Lead vocalist? What like?
Yeah, you can imagine it was front of the stage guitar. Like doing that.
Yeah.
And so like that was also like bad for me with college. And trying to play rock and roll and go to college.
Okay,
at the same time.
hold on.
Yeah.
We went to college at the same time.
Yeah.
We're the same age.
Yeah. I'm 43.
I'm 43. Yeah, we're the same age. So you were modeling after. Nirvana?
It was that kind of that thing. It morphed into like I never really got deep into like the punk grunge kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I did, and then it quickly pivoted into like Americana, alternative country, cowpunk type stuff.
Okay. Yeah. So like you had a pretty heavy like Tennessee, Texas slant to it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
When you said rock star, I mean, I can't help it. And also you talked about Duff and MTV. So I immediately go to like, okay, rock star.
I had like hair. I had like the bad haircut, like super shaved, like long, like I guess it would be like a double-sided curtain cut now. But yeah, not awesome.
Yeah.
And then went budget mode that I could cut my hair myself and I would just shave it. But yeah. But no, I mean, I threw myself into, one, into drinking, but two, into just music, and everything I did that made me money was just to fund making music. Like that was the thing.
Yeah.
Like every penny I made or that we could spare was going into recording, was going into paying to travel. Like there's so little money to make in music, at least there was for me.
That's the way it is for most.
That I had jobs to pay for music, and that was cool. It was fun. There's lots of neat stories about that.
And at that age, you can do it.
Right.
You really can.
Yeah. Doing turnarounds. Like there was, like bands broke up, and I was doing like solo stuff, and but doing like 24-hour turnarounds to like go play a show at a showcase in New York, then fly back that morning and be at work at 9:00 the next morning.
Yeah.
I mean, like real
That's
stupid
awesome.
stuff. Like, yeah, it's awesome.
That's
and it's a fun
awesome.
story.
Yeah.
Not sustainable.
No, of course not. Of course not. But what 20-anything-year-old is thinking about sustainability?
Oh,
that's just not even.
No, it's just if I can do it for long enough.
Right.
If I can do it until the Velcro sticks on the other side.
Yes.
Like if I can do it till it catches.
Yes.
That's all I need.
And it's cool. And doing what's cool matters.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Absolutely.
That's what matters.
Yeah. I mean, if you can't be cool, what's the point?
That's right. That's right.
But yeah, like that was up into late 20s. And at that point I was working at Comdata, in Brentwood doing basically financial sales for trucking companies, things like that. Mm-hmm. And it was all right, but I mean, it wasn't the right fit. Like I had a mohawk and I worked black and pink checkerboard vans, and I'll just say that they were not my people.
Yeah.
Like, it was just not where I belonged. But they were really, I mean, it was a great place to work in terms of me developing and learning. Like I learned how to read financials selling at Comdata.
Yeah. Okay.
And things had gotten to the point where it seemed like music wasn't going to happen. And all I could think of was being stuck in a cubicle for the rest of my life. And cue the anxiety attacks, cue the depression, cue the counseling sessions. And I remember it was, it seems like so many incidents ago, but when there was that shooter at Virginia Tech, maybe 12 years ago now, probably right at it.
Yeah.
It was on all the sports talk. It was on every media outlet.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't escape it. And it was just this noise in my head. And I'm like, okay, something's wrong in my head. Like I got to get away from all this. I can't deal with it. And that was really kind of the pivot point to me moving into climbing. Around that time, a friend, now one of my business partners, introduced me to climbing, and it became therapy in addition to other therapy.
Yeah.
It became the safe place I could go when like the world was getting all crowded. It became the thing that I could make the noise go quiet. And did that for a couple of years, just maintaining, sales job, managing the stress, managing anxiety attacks and all that, and decided this sucks. This is awful. Like I can't do this for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And learned that the climbing gym that I then bought and turned into the Crag was for sale. And thanks to being on drugs, thanks to being on antidepressants and anti-anxiety medication, I decided that I could do it. I took the guy's financials. Like literally, I was not afraid. Like I was too drugged to be afraid. I took the guy's financials and tore them apart.
Dude, I love that.
And he wanted one price, and I gave him 70% of the price. because it's a skill that I'd learned.
Yeah.
And I knew how to sell to the bank so I could get the loans. And this was back before the recession.
So you learned all this at Comdata? Or
Yeah.
basically?
I learned sales just because I'm good at talking to people and just paying attention and like convincing, like I'm good at convincing people to get on my team.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I'm good at like, I guess you'd call it coalition building or getting somebody to buy into my vision.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hell, that's how I got married. Right? That was the trick. But yeah, I learned how to turn it into financial things and learn how to deal with profit and losses and balance sheets. Probably like through sales.
Yeah.
I never took an accounting class in college. I think I took an FBLA class my sophomore year of high school. And so I bought a climbing gym. I've been climbing for 3 years.
Now, okay.
Yeah. You said origin story.
I know.
It's going to be like a thick one.
No. But this is good because there's something in here that I don't want to say it's missing, but that I want to.
Yeah.
I've got a little bit of a gap.
Yeah.
So I get the anxiety about the cubicle.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
And I get the climbing.
Yeah.
As therapy.
Yeah.
And I get that you picked up financials and you sort of learned some things in there. And I get that you were drugged up. And so that led to you not having any fear. What I don't quite understand is why did you want to buy it?
Oh,
why did you look at it and say I want to buy it? Because this is a very big turn. And when you're doing the musician thing, that is a form of entrepreneurship. So I get that. I can connect that. But still, buying a building business, is
it was growing up. My grandfather remains one of my heroes. He owned multiple businesses, was like in the real sense of the word, a patriarch of the family. My dad owned businesses. I mean, it was not until years and years and years later that I've reconciled that part of business ownership and my dad's relationship and all that. But yeah, I guess it had always kind of been in me.
But that's in there, man. I mean, it was once you start talking about two generations like that, and was your grandfather?
It's my mom's dad, and then my dad.
So on both
opposite sides of the family. But yeah, I guess it was just in me, and I had thought, man, one day I'll own a record store or a guitar shop or a coffee shop
something
or
cool.
Whatever, something cool.
Yeah.
And as I think about it now, some communal space.
Yeah.
Something that's communal where you can come together and, we like the same records. Cool. What's your name? Or we're having a cup of coffee together. Or, hey, I like the way you play guitar.
Yeah.
Whatever. Something where there's an expression and there's a community there. I feel like any hot-headed, half-baked entrepreneur, I thought I could do it better.
Yeah.
And that was what I thought about climbing is, I wanted to create a place where no matter how hard somebody climbed or how experienced they were or what they looked like or where they came from, that you'd walk in and you'd feel like you belonged, that you were supported, that you could connect, that the people there were for you. And that's what we started to do. That's what we've done. But that was it. Was I can do this better. I can create a space where everybody walks in and feels like this is their place.
How long ago was that?
It'll be 12 years, February 1st.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's nuts. Over a quarter of my life.
And the first location was Cool Springs?
Yeah, and it's still there.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's actually Tennessee's original climbing gym. First one in the state. I didn't build it. I bought it.
But you bought the very first one that was here.
First one in the state.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. And it was going to be the test kitchen. Like the 5-year plan.
Was it called the Crag?
No, I changed the name. I changed everything about it. Colors, name, culture. I kept.
So what did you really buy? You bought the equipment?
I bought the assets.
Bought the assets, yeah.
I mean, to talk like just financial stuff.
Yeah.
I gave the person that owned it 0 goodwill. and just told them, like, I'm not keeping anything of yours other than the stuff that's in the building.
Right.
So I'm discounting all that. And did.
Yeah.
I just didn't take any of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and it was hard. I mean, it was a big culture change.
For the people who were already bought into what was there?
For those members.
Yeah.
I mean, but it wasn't really it wasn't a business, you know? There wasn't membership tracking. There wasn't.
Yeah, the things.
Whatever.
Yeah, I get it.
It was, gosh, with all respect to those guys, it was a clubhouse that collected some dues.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Right. Right.
So, yeah, I really wanted to make it fantastic. I wanted it to be remarkable. I wanted it to be a place that that everybody knew, and I thought that I would have to fight people for it. I had this real punk rock, like, ethos about it. Like, I'm going to have to drag, especially in Franklin, thinking about it, people's lack of involvement, my conceptions or misconceptions about that, that I'm going to have to fight with you to get you to buy in, to get you to participate. And I think it turns out...
But you signed up for that.
I did. And it turns out that really what I should have done was just invite people. Like, an invitation works way better than a fist fight.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And learned that if we just say, yeah, come on in, that people will come on in. You know, and if we say yes to every donation request, if we say yes to whatever, that we're saying yes to people and to things that they believe in. And so we buy into them, they start to buy into us.
So you bought the first climbing gym in Tennessee.
Yeah.
When I first met you, I met you with partners.
Oh, yeah.
Did you buy with partners?
No. I brought partners on. We formed our partnership because we just celebrated 2 years at the Nashville gym. I brought partners on roughly a year before that, so about 3 years ago.
Okay.
So, and it was part of...
So you did 9 years.
Yeah.
On your own.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's, man, talk about another culture shock. I mean, again, it's a quarter of my life almost, right. And then all of a sudden I've got partners.
Why? Why did you bring in partners?
Part of it was my own knowledge gap, like recognition of my knowledge gap.
You felt like you hit a wall?
A little bit, but also that I'm not good at everything.
Yeah.
You know, I learned how to be functional with accounting and QuickBooks, but it's not what I'm best at.
Yeah.
I've learned how to do this or that or whatever. And so part of it was a knowledge gap for me, a skill gap for me in filling that. Part of it was financial, knowing that I couldn't turn the nut on my own and bringing in people. And then I like working on a team. Mm-hmm. You know, mm-hmm. I like if you want to go far, bring friends. Yeah. You know, like that idea. But yeah, I mean, it's been hard. I think my partners would say it's been hard. They've had to put up with my growth experience.
As a business has been hard, or the partnership itself?
I would say all of it.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, I mean, they've, I would say, endured isn't the right word, but had to work with my own growth process.
Right.
As I continue to develop into the leader that I am and continue to like build those skills. I mean, you know this, like being an entrepreneur, being a leader in a business means you're almost always at your edge, at the edge of your capability.
Yeah.
Your business is kind of always pushing you.
Yes.
At least that's the case for me.
Yes. No.
I feel like I'm always catching my own growth.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's probably not so much true if you're, buying a franchise or something like that. But that's not who we have on the show, right? I mean, we have people who like create shit.
Yeah. If you're making stuff.
You're at the edge because it's not really. It's an idea. It's a thought.
Right.
It's a dream. It's not, you know what I mean? Like all the mechanics of it haven't been worked out yet.
Yeah.
And so you got to kind of figure that
always,
piece out.
It's always creation. It's always inventing.
Yeah.
And that's what I like. That's what I enjoy. And I don't really get into day-to-day stuff. I don't enjoy it, So I guess strategy versus tactical. I much prefer strategy and vision than I do paying the light bill.
12 years. When did you get married?
19 years ago. It'll be 20 years in February.
Okay. What was it like shifting from working to being an entrepreneur with respect to your marriage?
Hard, especially because Brooke, my wife, 6 months after I bought the Crag, decided she was going to leave her job and start her own business.
Wow.
Do not recommend that for people. And she had an easier time of it. She, at the time, was a dog groomer.
Okay. Yeah.
And so she started their own mobile dog grooming service and just took a whole bunch, took a book of business with her.
Yeah.
So she ramped up fast.
Yeah.
But hard conversations, tears at the kitchen table.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Because you guys are both it.
Yeah. Well, and
there's not
and if
there's
you
not some
back up,
company sort of like.
No. And if you back up, 11, 12 years ago, do the math. I bought the gym and then we had the biggest recession since the Great Depression.
Yeah. Yep.
So, I lost lines of credit. I all sorts of stuff, having to borrow money, from her, borrowed money from Brooke.
Yeah.
That I still probably, I think I need to pay back. But yeah, it was really hard. And it was, I would say, a galvanizing thing in our relationship. We'd only been dating a year when my mom died. And then, deal with the first couple of years of marriage and being an idiot 26-year-old or whatever.
Sure.
And then I buy a business and that's super hard.
Right.
It's man, we ran through the crucible, we're going to stick around forever.
Yeah.
Because we've already done all the hard shit.
Yeah.
There's nothing else we can do.
When did the kid come into the picture?
Luke.
Yeah.
4.5 years ago, almost 5 years ago.
Okay. So you guys had gotten
We've been married 15 years.
You guys had gotten through a lot of the difficult forming pieces before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's another pretty.
Yeah. Monumental thing.
Monumental and amazing and really fucking hard thing.
Yeah.
Hard.
Yeah. It's hard. I think though, I thought, back to my 5-year plans, I thought that we'd be married 5 years and have a kid.
Yeah.
I am so glad that we did not have a kid when we were married 5 years. I was an idiot.
Yeah,
I was an immature, uninitiated idiot.
Gotcha.
And then, push that out 5 years or whatever. It's I bought a business. I remember hearing people say well, there's no good time to have a kid. It's yeah, but there's sure as shit bad times.
Yeah, that's right.
Definitely bad times.
That's right.
But yeah, 15 years into marriage, adding a kid to the mix, my perspective is so different. He doesn't cost me anything. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like I'm making sacrifices I can't go out.
Yeah.
Whatever. And also Brooke is super gracious about knowing that I am that person that needs to be out.
Yeah.
That needs to go do things.
Yeah.
She doesn't have that same need, and we work to balance that, don't go to the hockey game Thursday night if you're going to the Nashville Soccer Club game Tuesday night.
That's right. Yeah.
Some of that's maturity.
And that's fair.
And some of that's
just
debate and discussion and balance.
Yeah.
But no, having a kid 15 years into marriage when I was about to turn 40, what a gift. Being able to own a business where I could take time off. We hadn't yet grown and opened the new gym yet. I took 2 months off. Just kind of checking in.
That's
amazing. I earned this. I worked for this.
That's right. That's right.
And being able to support Brooke and then give myself what I wanted in that, and then still having some of that ability. I take him to his preschool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's time that I buy. I make up for it somewhere else.
Sure.
Whatever.
Sure. But you can make the choice. It is ultimately your choice to make.
And I have to remember that, because a lot of times I feel oh man, I have to at home or I have to at work.
Yeah.
It's and there's some of that. I own a business.
Yeah.
And then there's also...
Yes, our relationships do carry some of that, but
right.
man, we have a lot of authority.
Right. But I
when you're an entrepreneur.
I don't have to get home to read books to him at bedtime. I get to go home.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I choose that, and then have to choose. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Getting back on the laptop and doing some work.
Yeah.
It's just managing, time is time.
Yeah.
There's not, a friend told me that, there isn't home time and work time and whatever. It's just time.
Yeah.
and you allocate it how you want. It's just time.
So, gosh, it would be about 5 years ago. I walked in and started telling my wife, Rachel, about Nashville Football Club.
Yeah.
And, she was like, okay. And then I told her that I was going to join the board, and she started to cry. and the reason
I think Brooke would do that if I told her I was joining another board right now.
And the reason is because she basically later on she's nailed it. And I'm learning I need to work on this. She said, Marcus can't have a hobby. Right? Like, it started out that he just wanted to do something that wasn't work. So he started going to watch Spurs matches at the pub, and he met, Wes and Steven, and started going to Nashville Spurs, gatherings.
And all of a sudden,
he's joining this startup Nashville soccer thing. Yeah. And now he's
like all good ideas, it started in a bar.
Right. Exactly. And so you and I have the shared familial roots of Spurs. We won't get into that because we're not doing very well right now.
No.
Let's focus on happier things.
Yeah.
Nashville Soccer Club now was Nashville Football Club.
Yeah.
And you and the Roadies.
Yeah.
And the Roadies are such a ridiculously important part of the history of this club and this movement that is today Nashville Soccer Club.
Right. Billboards everywhere.
You guys
tickers on Times Square or wherever that was.
Right. This whole thing is certainly punctuated by, and look, we have many supporters groups. Right. But there is an original. Yeah. There is an original supporters group. I know I bought one of the flags for you guys, right? So there's a history to this. And what I think is, there's two moments for me, and they're actually both at Nissan. They're not at First Tennessee. Yeah. But there are two moments for me. The first one, someone took a picture of you and I.
Oh, yeah, that was that first match.
Yeah.
Maybe the first USL match or first league match.
First league match. First league match at Nissan, where we're standing there and we're looking, and it's just dude.
What a moment.
What is this, right?
Yeah.
And then there was the moment where you and Steven, who's the capo for anyone who doesn't, know.
Vice President of The Roadies.
Yeah. Yeah. Are running around Nissan Stadium telling people to get up and teaching them the songs. Yeah. And that for me was this is going to be how the culture gets passed along. This is going to be how the culture gets passed along, right? Yeah. So anyway, I just want to lay that as the prelude for a conversation about creating culture. Yeah. Right? Creating culture. And and in the midst of you creating the Crag, which is such an amazing place, an amazing culture, the Crag is the first fitness choice that my youngest son made on his own. I forced him to do martial arts. He had no choice. He was getting that damn black belt, okay? Right. But the Crag was a place where he chose to go. Yeah. And
with his friends. He had
his friends.
A bunch of kids from Overton coming in.
And he would bring them there, and so and I always thought that was amazing. And he didn't know that you and I, he was probably pissed off about that because he was probably I wanted this to be.
He played it cool.
Did he?
He played it cool.
Okay. But so I know the kind of impact of the culture you created at the Crag. Yeah. But, here again, and you didn't do this by yourself. Right. There was a group of people who started the Roadies. But, just talk about what it was like at the onset and as this thing developed. I saw it from the perspective of the board seat. Right. onto the ownership, right? That was my point of view for everything. And the one thing I knew more than any of the other owners was how important the supporters were. They knew it, but I knew it.
Right.
I knew it.
Yeah.
Talk to me from your seat.
Yeah.
What was that like, man? What was it like to develop this thing and then it just starts
building?
Yeah.
It's not that different than owning a business. Always at the edge of my capabilities. I heard Chris Jones on the radio after I'd been to England talking about NFC, this startup soccer club, nonprofit, member-owned soccer club. And I thought, it was $75 for a scarf and season tickets, and I got to ride it off.
Such a good deal,
right?
This was
Can you do something about those prices for next year?
That was I can't do anything about anything. So let's just be clear. But that was the easiest.
It was
impulse buy.
Yeah, it was.
I've ever made.
And but I remember thinking in that moment, and I'd already owned a business for a few years and was thinking about legacy type things.
Yeah.
But I remember thinking in that moment, this is a chance to have an impact and be involved in something that changes the landscape of Nashville and Nashville sports legacy. Like that vision of, or that scene in Dead Poets Society where they're all in the hallway, they're looking at the black and white pictures, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so I jumped in and couldn't help but, I would love to not just naturally push myself forward sometimes.
Right.
I haven't figured out how not to do that yet.
Well, that was why I told the story
Newton
about Rachel.
Can't have a hobby.
That was why I told the story about Rachel, because it's clearly for you to be in the position you're in the Roadies, it means you can't have a hobby.
Yeah.
Because I know your life, dude. It's you're a family man. You're super engaged there. You're super engaged at the Crag. And you're super engaged with the Roadies. Okay, there's no more time, bro. That's it. That's
Seriously.
it. Your hobbies are your life.
That's about it. Yeah. It's been this just massive sales job turned into managing growth process.
Yeah.
We used to have to buy people tickets and a beer to get them to go to NFC matches.
Yeah.
And now people ask us for tickets and we don't have any.
Right.
It's different.
Right.
It's different. It's heady. It's really heady thinking that I had a hand in creating this culture. And it's not that different than what we're about at the Crag. All are welcome.
Yeah.
You can sing with us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Everybody can play a role. Everybody's welcome. And we've just stayed with that, with community involvement. That was a big thing that was important to us, was, not just being people that tailgate and get loaded and then go sing songs and then go home, but that we are in the community, that we're making Nashville better because of soccer. And I think that has carried over to the culture of the club. I think the club has that culture. The Roadies for sure have that culture. We're a nonprofit. I'm a college dropout that owns a business and is the president of a nonprofit.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell I've done with my life. I don't know what I've done. But it was that important to us that we don't just pay lip service to it, that we put our money where our mouths are. We put our backs where our money is.
Yeah.
So we started by buying soccer balls for kids in Haiti as Roadies were going on mission trips.
Yeah.
And that turned into, now soccer for the nations and putting kids onto actual soccer teams and all that.
Yeah.
But it all starts. Again, going back to me thinking I had to fight people. I thought I had to fight people to be soccer fans. I just had to invite them.
Yeah.
Just got to invite them. Just come try it. Just let us make you feel welcome.
The early pictures, the first NFC season, I was traveling a lot. It was the end of my stint with a venture-backed company that had offices at that time in Boston and San Francisco, and so it was really hard for me to make matches. I was just flying all the time, but I got to get to the last couple. And I was like totally blown away. So I'm like member 74.
Yeah.
And followed on Twitter and knew
I think I'm
how we were
137
doing.
or something.
Yeah. So like, I was early in, but I didn't get to do so many of those first year things,
Right.
like the first bar meeting. And, I was just on the road. And when I was home, like I could not be going out.
Right.
You know what I mean? I had to
Right.
like tend to the family.
You gotta be home.
Yeah. But the pictures from the first season, specifically like the pictures of the Roadies, and like on the road games, and like just like the rivalries with Chattanooga and the rivalries with New Orleans, and the name, the Roadies, and the first in last out, like and how those things have endured.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys aren't the first in anymore on the home matches because you have to lead a procession.
Right.
Like that's the only reason
It's changed
why.
a little bit.
But you are the last out.
Most nights, yeah.
You are the last out.
We're usually getting kicked out.
Yeah,
I mean, not because we're doing something wrong.
No.
But because we're hanging out.
Yes, because y'all have hanging out, having a good time.
And then we're across the street.
Right. And you have this relationship with the players. That was the hook for me, going to the first match and seeing, and I was a Spurs supporter, so I knew what good support looked like. Right. And
you mean the best support?
The best support. and I was like, shit, we have great support. Right. We have like, this is, and to me that was like this is, it's real or not based on how strong the support is, and the support was really, really strong, really strong. Yeah. And then, as we're heading into the second season, a story comes out, in the Tennessean, and then we have to respond to the story, and then things start happening. Yeah, it's right. It got really hectic. Yeah, it got really hectic really fast, fast.
I feel like, and it's a thing that I think is important. That impacts the culture of the club, that impacts the culture of the Roadies, is Nashville is all about Nashville. Yeah. Like Nashville, if there's anything that Nashville likes, it's Nashville. Yeah. And we're a proud city in that way. Yep. And so this thing of somebody else coming in and doing something really rallied support around Nashville Football Club. Yeah. It was kind of, it was one of those like get your damn hands off my team moments. Yeah. And it galvanized the supporters. It, I feel like, put a fire under the board and ownership, and forced our hand. You know?
It did.
For good or for bad, Yeah. I think for good, for good with speed bumps.
So, for sure, speed bumps
or hurdles.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
But it was really cool. It has been. When I think about all I wanted to do was have a piece in a sports legacy, like something about Nashville. It's like I've walked Mayor Barry into our USL announcement. I planted the flag at First Tennessee and gave a freaking speech. Yeah. With Mayor Barry. I've been more involved in like Nashville civic stuff than anybody wants to be involved in. Yeah. With the stadium things and all that. But man, it's super rewarding. I also have relationships that I wouldn't have had if not for soccer. Right. Right. Like my life is genuinely better because I paid the $75 to get the scarf and the season tickets. I've got friends that I wouldn't have had. I wouldn't be in Catalyst if it wasn't for Nashville Football Club, because Redditch is the one that sent my recommendation to be in, like told me about it, but then sent my recommendation for me. Wow. Like it is not lost on me what soccer has done for me. Yeah. And yeah, so like when I think about what the Roadies are and what we can do as an overall large supporters group, not just the Roadies, but all of us. When's this come out? After Saturday?
Oh, yeah, for sure after Saturday.
Cool. So we're about to announce the Backline Supporters Collective.
Amazing.
Here first.
Amazing. Amazing.
It's all the supporters groups making an umbrella organization to make the supporters end welcoming and intimidating.
Yeah.
And it's what we wanted 6 years ago.
Yeah.
One big unified end.
Yeah.
That all, like, if this is your flavor, you've got a group. If this is my flavor, I've got a group. But we're all working together.
Right.
And it is this collective. And I'm super, super excited that I've been able to work with that and work with the roadies and all these things to say, I don't care what color your skin is. I don't care who you like to kiss. I don't care anything about anything, as long as you're nice to people and you cheer for my team.
Yeah.
Like if you're on that team,
Yeah.
come on.
Right.
Like it doesn't. We can talk about how you vote. We can talk about everything else, but for those 90 minutes, we can support those guys in this city and that club, and then hopefully we all go out and we turn that around, and we're doing stuff like President Carter, building houses and like making Nashville better because a bunch of guys go kick a ball on Saturdays and Sundays.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take the privilege, since I'm the host of the show, and say something that I don't think I've really said before, but since this is a show and people will consume it, I think it would be good. Is it
going to be scandalous?
No, not at all. Not at all. I think it would be good. I think it would be good to have on record. So there were many difficult moments for me personally.
Yeah.
Through this entire process.
Yeah.
One of the really difficult moments was the realization of what it was going to take to move NFC to the pros in order to lock that in.
Yeah.
Like there was no way that could happen without upsetting some people on principle.
Right.
Like it was, you know, like once we did the diligence on what it was really going to take,
right.
It was like, there's no way, because in some way it is counter to what this was founded on. Like, not intentionally.
Right.
Not intentionally, but unavoidably.
Right.
So, right?
Right.
Unavoidably so.
Yeah.
Now that we know what this is,
right.
There's no, and that.
Yeah, when the game changes, the rules change.
When the game, yes.
And
yes. Back to the point of our hands being forced, right?
Right.
And the process from the day I really understood that, to the communications with the board, to the communications with the ownership of the nonprofit club,
right.
Which was not really ownership. It was members in good standing.
Yes.
Members in good standing is really what it was, right? And the vote and that entire process, and me shifting out of the board.
Right.
You know, that was...
Man, that seems like so long ago.
Dude.
It's like 3 years.
It's 3 years ago.
It seems like a lifetime ago.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
That was a difficult period for me personally, just because I felt like it was a hard thing to communicate what we were doing.
Yeah.
And I have to say, man, the roadies were really, like, the owner, the members in good standing of Nashville Football Club,
right,
were disparate at that point. I mean, you had people all over the country, quite frankly, right? Who had bought into the vision.
Yeah.
You didn't have to be here in Nashville for that.
Right.
The only clear, collected, loud voice was the roadies.
Yeah.
That was it. That was the only way. That was the only qualitative way that I could sort of tell whether or not this was going to be okay or not.
Right.
You know, and the roadies didn't have to be so supportive and mature. And
that's one thing that's rarely said about us. Mature.
you know, in reality, I think it was really, really mature.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, look, you guys are fun.
It was a hard decision.
It was a hard decision.
And like there was a lot of conversation around how far is too far.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes.
And
yes.
Like what can we keep if something, and it's not that different from any growth.
No, dude.
You know?
No.
It's not that different than me selling pieces of my business to partners and now, okay, what is mine? What do I own?
Yeah.
How do we own this? How do we go forward?
Yes.
And at what point do we say it's not the same thing that it was?
Yes.
And I still feel like what we have playing tonight in 4 hours is still what we had.
Well,
you know?
Well, the leadership that you and the other roadies who were the leaders of the roadies, I know it was not about me, but I just want to say, like, you all were for sure the bright spot for me through that process.
Yeah.
Like, for me personally.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, like in terms of, like, me being able to look anywhere and feel like this is going to be okay.
Yeah.
I'm doing the right thing for the right reasons. You know what I'm saying?
And I would say that is about you. Because if you weren't you,
no, just
then,
I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
what you guys were doing was for the club, okay?
Yeah.
But from my seat,
Right.
where it was pretty dicey, like, I just want to say that that was super helpful to me. You know,
I'm glad. Like,
super helpful to me.
That's awesome. I mean, and like we've talked about that before. It's kind of, again, heady to think about. It's now on a podcast video. Like, I think that, it's, I don't know. I feel like we backed the right person. I feel like we made the right decisions, and ultimately it's led to us being able to do more, you know, as roadies. It's led to us being able to try and grow what we're doing. And I don't mean waving flags and singing songs in the stands. I mean impacting kids' lives through the nonprofit aspect of what we're doing. And that's even been a growth thing for us, where we have to argue and fight about how do we do that? If 90% of our members don't give a rip about that, how do we keep that the same?
Right.
You know?
Right. Okay. So you brought it up. Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little bit about that. I mean, one of the most impressive things was, as we as a club moved from NPSL to USL, and had a front office and all of that stuff. You know, and then we had a supporters trust established, and we had more supporters groups sort of, you know, and again, you know, I think all the supporters groups are fantastic, and I love the mosaic of supporters groups that we have
that's
today.
A good word
it's
for
really
it.
cool.
It's a really good
really,
word for
really
it.
cool. You know, I do think you all, as the genesis of supporters clubs for this club here, had a lot to do with establishing how all the clubs would get along, right? You know what I mean? Like whatever, you know, I don't want to say it was up to you, but you were certainly by numbers. You have a loud voice and you know, and some authority just by how long you've been at this, right?
Yeah, authority and responsibility.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I thought you did a fantastic job with that. But then, like, I would notice, okay, you formed a nonprofit, and then I heard about Soccer for the Nations, and then so talk a little bit about the nonprofit setup, and then also Soccer for the Nations. So let's definitely talk about Soccer for the Nations.
So I mean, the nonprofit. I mean, our vision as a nonprofit is to make Nashville better through soccer-based initiatives. The way we accomplish that is right now through Soccer for the Nations. It was an existing organization that we partnered with, I guess 3 years ago now, that had one team of kids that were basically all scholarshiped, playing in one of the Metro leagues.
Okay.
It was a natural fit. It was just, we got introduced to them. We donated some money. We sent some coaches, just got involved. And then the life circumstance of the ladies that were leading it changed. I think they moved or started grad school. I forget who did what.
Yeah.
And they basically offered us the organization. And we were already working on 501c3 status at
Yeah.
that point, nonprofit status. And it really just cemented that from the thing that, I had said 5 years ago, like, I'm not going to be involved in a supporters group that's not doing something in the community, to now we have an actual nonprofit. The folks that run it, Valere and Lexi, are the presidents or the leaders of that group. I forget, their executive directors, I guess, is what they are. They kick ass. I mean, it is what they are passionate about.
It is definitely what they are passionate about. It is the only thing that Valera and Lexi. Oh yeah, of course.
And man, talk about finding the right people. And there's been growing pains with that for all of us. Like, find the right people and then loosen the reins as much as we can.
Yeah.
And we've had to learn how to loosen reins because they can run.
Yeah, sure.
But can you how do you get too far ahead? It's like, not that they are children, don't hear that. But like, how far do I let my son run ahead to where I can help?
Yeah.
Because he's still mine to a degree.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that's been a thing that we're currently dealing with, is how do we support that initiative? What's the best way to do it? How do we grow that? Do we hold it back? Like, there's been a whole bunch of that this year, as those two people have done, and the other folks that are volunteering with that have done so much. I mean, I think last season we had 6 teams.
Wow.
I think that's
really?
right. 5 or 6 teams, I think. I think it's down this year in the fall season. This is fall, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, we're putting a bunch of kids into soccer programs.
Wow.
And it's from my perspective, I'm not hands-on with it. I can't be.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have enough hobbies.
Good.
So I mean, I hear about it, and I don't get to be as involved as I would like, but it's still something that I have a lot of pride in. And that I'm trying to help us figure out how do we grow it and manage it and deal with it going forward. Because to me, it is the legacy piece for the Roadies. And I mean, from a little bit of an ego standpoint, from a pride standpoint, like, it's a big, I guess, ego piece, pride piece for me. That 6 years ago, this idea that not just me, but a bunch of people had, I have helped carry and push forward, again, with the help of a lot of people. So now we can say we've put this many kids through a program. We're getting kids introduced to something that they wouldn't be able to be introduced to without us.
Yeah, I think it has been amazing to see how the principles, the values, and the spirit of Nashville Football Club, and this idea that I think everyone, when they first looked at it, knew somewhere inside, like, they were like, oh, that's so cool, we'll have soccer in Nashville. But there was also like the sense that, wow, this could do a lot of good for this city, right? You know what I mean? And that's something you hear. I mean, that was like from Jonesy to John Ingram, right? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, there's just this sense that this could do a lot of good. Like, that was the thing that was when I knew David was the right guy. You know what I mean? It was like, he was so, like, he got it. He was like, this would be so good for the city. Yeah. And it was like, bingo. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's go. You know what I mean? And just that has continued, and now we get to see it from so many different views and faces, because now, it's a thing. It's a big thing. This is a big thing. Yeah.
It is. It just, to me, it's testament to, if you get the right people with the right mindset and just give them enough food and oxygen to make the fire go. Yeah. That really big things happen. I don't think Jonesy thought in 2013 that we were going to have an MLS team next season.
Dude, he's such a legend. This is it's so crazy.
I didn't think that I was.
It's so crazy.
Excuse me. I didn't think that I would wind up on internet ads and TV things. Like I didn't why I did it. That's not why you got involved. That's not why David got involved.
Come on. This is.
I mean, it wasn't glory.
No.
Right?
No.
It was that it felt like the right thing to do at the time, and recognizing, like, putting passion with opportunity, you know, will work as long as I keep working at it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I was talking to, speaking of things not always being easy and like getting hard. I was talking to a friend of mine today, and I remembered that Marshawn Lynch interview video where he talks about having to hit somebody over and 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 over. Like that's my job. That is my responsibility. That's what I have to do as I do the, like, what I think of as the hard, lonely work of trying to grow my business and grow myself more than anything else.
Amen.
If I'm the thing in the way of my business,
right, I
got to grow or get out.
Right.
So I've got to hit that resistance, whatever that is, over and 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 over. You know, like it's the Marshawn Lynch thing. And I feel like we've done that as a soccer club. I feel like I get tired, but I'm trying to do that, owning the business and being a husband and being a dad. You know, it's not fun reading books all the time, bedtime stories or whatever. That's part of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Just that relentlessness of, I can do it today. I can do it today. I can do it today.
Well, not bad for a dropout, man.
Not bad at all. I mean, look at you.
No.
I'm a 2, man. I deflect.
I'm studying up on my Enneagram.
You knew what I meant.
I did. Man,
shame is my love language, and I deflect.
I'm an 8.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It does. And that's like, there's a repulsion and attraction there.
Yeah. Thank you. Man. Allow me to say thank you for everything that you have done through your creative will and love of community for this city.
Thanks.
Thank you, man.
I love it. Thank you for, as I told you when you asked if I wanted to do this, I will take the unrequested affirmation. Happily take it.
It's deserved and earned, and this is what we're here to do. We're here to document the stories.
Thanks. I'm thrilled.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, man.
All right, man. Until next time. Peace.